Hello, everybody. NeusNexus here, and welcome back to another interview with a gamer. This time, I'm very, very happy to announce that I have shylostconfused with me. How are you doing today?
Magical. How are you?
I'm good now that the bot friggin' listens to me. Jesus, yeah, it was a pain to get him in there, painting him there. So before we begin with some of the questions, there, Shy, how about you let us know about yourself? Like anything that you would like to kind of say or anything about yourself, what you stream, anything like that.
Well, I am a horror for horror. I am a horror variety horror. I'm a horror for horror. Yeah, that's going great. So, I'm a horror variety streamer. I'm not a horror. I am a horror, but not that. I'm just working that corner. What can I say? So to get them games, that gamer girl bathwater. So that's what I do mostly. Sometimes I play other games, but I'm a really bad shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was informed that my chat would riot if I ever played Dark Souls again, or any type of Dark Souls. I'm really bad at it, apparently. And yeah, so that's not really my forte. And I don't know, I enjoyed Resident Evil. It was kind of scary. It was scary. I died a lot. But my forte is basically dying a lot. In fact, people hope I do die. They try to make me die, which is fine, I guess. Makes me wonder what would happen if people ever met me in real life, which will never happen because, you know, going outside is not really my thing. But yeah, that's basically what I do. I stream, I do art, I love my cats, I love coffee, and I love Red Bull.
Yes, I think we've established that from shitposts and other amongst things, even during streams where people, you know, because shy, you know. Yeah, so basically, as you said, you're a variety horror streamer. You basically stick to primarily to games of that, and you do other games as well. And yeah, with Dark Souls is kind of a taste. You either like it or you don't, and you're good at it or you're not. Especially with like that, especially if you have to even learn stuff, it takes a while to get used to it. Like I started playing Dark Souls and I'm actually getting pretty damn good at it and scaring myself sometimes because I'm like, how in the hell did I beat that thing? How?
Yeah, I have reflexes like a cow.
Oh yeah.
Turns out that's not good for Dark Souls games.
No, it's not. You gotta have cat-like reflexes, or at least like, I don't know, an anatomically accurate spider cat or something. I don't know. All right, so what we're gonna go into talking about now is a little bit about your gaming past. What was really the first thing that got you into playing games? Gaming in general.
I watched my brother play games quite a bit. I was the youngest sibling, so I had the younger sibling syndrome of just watching and going, wow, that's really cool, and then I'd get yelled at to get out of his room and stop breathing on his arm, and that was pretty close to the start of my gaming career. My mom did get me a brick Game Boy, and it was amazing, and if you ever have the chance to play The Hunt for Red October, I definitely think that you should do it, because you would think that Dark Souls is relatively easy compared to that game, and you might have better luck with living in Dark Souls than The Hunt for Red October. So playing that and earning money through summer jobs to get the next Game Boys up, like the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance, and playing the SNES with friends over at their house, and the Sega and the GameCube and whatever they had. I mean, I thought that the Mario 64 was absolutely just cutting edge. Legend of Zelda, amazing. Fantastic game. Could I beat it? No. Did I think it was amazing? Yes. Again, cow-like reflexes. Couldn't do it. Navi is still annoying. But yeah, that was basically what I could learn from others, and I would try to mimic them, kind of. And then my taste just kind of spread from there into what I liked, which was kind of point-and-click adventures. And then I realized that I kind of like the action affair of things, and spread from there to see what I could do, which is why I really like stuff like Outlast and The Evil Within, and The Evil Within 2. So, as much as I'm fond of point-and-click adventures like The Curse of Monkey Island. It's more like stuff like Outlast, where you actually have to run away panicking, that I like a bit more.
Okay, yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, over time, you did go with the kind of the main street games, and then after a certain bit of point, you kind of gone towards something that tailored to your tastes. Like you said that you enjoy horror games a lot, like, and especially the aspect of Outlast and running away and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I can't watch horror movies at all. They scare me, but horror games are right up my alley.
All right, I get you. Do you find that some horror games these days are not like true horror games anymore, that they're more kind of action oriented?
I do find that some people like to, well, put a bit too much action into it. I found that with The Evil Within 2, they put a ton of action into it instead of more scary stuff. That happened with Dead Space 2 as well. It was still, but they had a good balance with it. They had a good balance of horror, anticipation, as well as action. They always kept it interesting and what was going to happen next. You just didn't know. My problem is a lot of horror developers feel that they have to really put pressure on the scary aspect or even the religious aspect to make things scary. And it's like, you don't have to do that. If you are able to just find that medium that kind of psychs people out, or they even go into such taboo subjects like rape and incest and just really fucked up things. It's like, you don't have to do that to make people uncomfortable. And that's what really disappointed me with Layers of Fear 2, is they went into some really uncomfortable and fucked up subjects to the point where I had people in my chat leave. And they're like, I can't deal with this. I'll be back after you're done streaming. And I never touched that game again because it was awful. What they had in Layers of Fear, the first one, was great. It was fantastic. They had a good formula going, and then they kind of fucked it up with what they did in the second one. So I feel that there's a lot of developers that do a try hard formula and they just completely screw themselves over and lose interest of the people that would actually play their games.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, see, the thing is, there's a lot of different issues and stuff like that, and I'm sorry to say, but like the generation that came after, like my generation, stuff like that, and probably yours as well, is that a lot of people get offended by a lot of things now that they didn't before, like, you know, about those kind of subjects. And so the thing is, you have to kind of walk a fine line with something like that, and especially with horror games where they are trying to make you uncomfortable and stuff, it's kind of a hit me kind of not hit me kind of thing. And as I said, like, you know, you can't please everybody, but you also should, you know, not completely change up the formula, because as you said, from Layers of Fear 1 was good, but then 2 they kind of went a little too far, I think, as that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah, and I think as weird as it might sound, if it had been a completely different game and they had done something like that, it could have been fine. But it was the fact that you're expecting something along the lines of what they did in the first game, and they did a complete slap in the face. And it was just something that was not expected of what you were hoping for after you played the first game. And they just turned it on. They just tried for something more. They tried to jump the shark and just fucked it up, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, well that's very fair thing to say. Kind of going on that, what is your favorite horror game to date, though?
I would have to say it would probably be obvious. I talk about it, Outlast, and Whistleblower. Definitely a good game. I've watched people try to play through it, and they're like, I can't do it. It scares me. And I'm like, oh, but it's just so great. How can you not enjoy this? It's so fucked up. And then I get told I'm weird, and people ask me to leave at establishments, and like, oh man, this is just...
Well, no. Well, see, the thing is with Outlast, that I say, I personally love Outlast. the different, like going back to our conversation about kind of sequels and stuff like that with the horror games. I actually enjoyed Outlast 1 a lot more than Outlast 2. Outlast 2 had some really fucked up stuff in it, and I find that they kind of went more towards a religious aspect of it, and it kind of like it kind of ramps up the adventure. Then when you get towards the end, it kind of just tail spins down, from my opinion. And the thing is, if you don't know exactly what happened in that game, it kind of defeats the purpose. Like, there's tidbits that connect Outlast 2 to Outlast 1, but if you don't find them, you don't get them, and then you don't understand the true meaning of it. But yeah, I have to say Outlast and Whistleblower was definitely a better game, like, because of one, the fear, and also kind of the unknown of being in enclosed space. I find added a lot more to the fear factor than with 2. You're out in the open. It's, breathing. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree. Whenever people are like, oh, but what about Outlast 2? I'm like, I think it was actually pretty much garbage, because not only, like you said, the religious aspect and having to find all those notes in the very mild connection to Outlast 1, it's like, oh, well, you didn't find all those 57 pieces of paper. Well, guess what? You didn't understand that had a connection to all that fuckery that happened in Outlast 1. Haha. Congratulations, you're lost. What I feel is very important with a game, especially when it's out in the open, which you can make an open world one, kind of like that, is you have to let the player have a rest so that they have a moment to get that feeling of, I guess, a false sense of security, kind of like how Outlast 1 had all the little hidey holes where you were able to kind of chill out and get a breath and be like, all right. And nothing would happen for maybe like a couple minutes, and then suddenly, surprise, you're fucked. They never let that happen. You never got to catch a breath in Outlast 2. You never got to have that anticipation of, oh my god, I am so fucked. It was just constantly on the run, constant panic. You never got a chance to really look around and check things out. And that's, I feel, is important when you are outside. Especially outside. So, barring that, and the fact that they were so heavy on the religion thing, it's like, God, man, why?
Well, yeah, and the thing with that is, like, you know the whole story with Outlast 2, how it's connected to 1, right?
Yeah. I actually had to, because I actually didn't play it. I watched, what the fuck are the Scary Games Squad play it. Mm-hmm. And I've watched other people play it, but they actually went back and looked for all the tidbits, and I saw how, it was affected by the tower or whatever, sending signals, and it was fucking up, and the syphilis and whatever STD was fucking up people too. And it's like, you would never know this unless you read all the little scraps of paper that you find everywhere. And you have to be looking for them. Like, I've watched people in a panic run right by a piece of paper that was by their feet. You, as the observer watching the stream, you see it. The streamer, and I'm guilty of it, I've walked right past it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I get it. Like, I'm gonna put a spoiler warning here for anybody who's gonna be listening to this. See, the one thing I kind of want to tie in about that is, the signal was messing with people's brains, of course, like from on the tower and stuff like that. And the thing is, what it was doing, it was amplifying like things that were like that. And so people in that region were extremely religious, and it would affect their minds in different ways. And so that's why it talks about the whole Antichrist thing with the baby and that. And the thing with, especially with the main character, the one who's holding the camera all the time, is he was, as a young boy, he was in Catholic school, right? And so that kind of tied into that, and that's why you have those sequences with the creature in the school. And yeah, that's why it's really high religious, is because they kind of put it in an area where it was there. Like, as I agree with you that it really didn't need to be that prevalent, but like that. I think But I have to agree with you on the point about the hiding hole. Even if you were hiding in two, you never really got that. Like you were either kind of were in there or were not. Like if you hide in a barrel and it's in water, you can't really poke your head out that much because then things will find you.
Yeah, it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. And I don't feel that makes for a very good horror game if you are trying to do what they're trying to do and build on a story.
Yeah.
So that's I thought that was part of, I mean, they might have been able to make it work even with the heavy religious aspects if they hadn't had just the panic running all the way through it.
Yeah, because basically, like, it's worse. Like, you've watched people play on the higher difficulties, or have you?
Yeah, I've watched people try to speedrun on the higher difficulties.
Okay, because I played it on nightmare mode, and without the thing that really frustrated me about that is the limited amount of batteries that you get, but there's just certain points in that game where you can't frickin' do anything without the camera.
Yeah,
and
it's too dark.
Just like, I understand it's part of the challenge, but it's also a little bit of bullshit, because especially if you can't progress in the game like that, like it just becomes more of a panic because you're like, shit, I don't know where I'm going. And then I kind of, got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die so I can have a little bit of battery power so I can try it again. And you had to compromise. You should never have to compromise with a game, especially when it's a do or die situation where, it becomes more of an annoyance and kind of a hindrance to you, I find.
Yeah, I think that is not exactly okay, especially for a game like that. In my opinion, and it's going to sound slightly fucked up, I think a horror game should be actually enjoyable.
No, that's not.
You should have fun being scared. It's like going to a haunted house.
Exactly.
If you are actually getting frustrated and upset and it's not fun, you failed as a developer. So
yeah, because that's I agree on that. What would you say is the worst game you've ever played?
Oh my god. You mean like game or horror game?
It doesn't matter, either one. You can say one for each if you want. I don't mind.
Oh my god. Okay, so horror game. I would have to say probably Town of Lights. That was pretty bad. I'll probably get flack for this, but I haven't played the update of it, so I'm not sure. People have said the update have really made the game, but I was not a fan of Visage. I thought it was garbage, but whatever. People can crucify me if they want. I thought it was really lame.
Okay, so elaborate on that a little bit. I'm just curious.
Classic spooky house with a angry ghost girl walking around going "Ree" at you, and you could either hide or she would just punch you with like a shoe. And it's like, okay, so she's mad at me. Oh no. And you just walk around the house and try to find stuff and try to get to places, and she would just ree at you and scream, and it's like, alright. It got to the point where she would just be stomping around the house, and I'd just walk around the house like, alright, Karen's around here. Good job, Karen. You're yelling at me, Karen. Alright, Karen. Chat would be like, her name's not Karen, it's so-and-so. Is that what the developers called her? Yeah, that's what they named her. I'm like, well, she's Karen now. Because she's pissing me off. So
you do what I do. You that's what I do. Whenever something starts pissing me off, something like that, I give it a name or something like that, and it makes it so much easier for me to deal with it, because it's like, Jesus Christ, Karen, what the fuck?
I would also say I didn't really like Remothered. I thought it was slightly dumb. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but it could have been better presented. It just could have been better all the way around. As far as bad games, oh man. As far as bad games, I'd have to look at my Steam list. Can I get back?
Don't worry, we got time. Yeah, you can get back to me about that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Ask me another question while I go on my phone.
Yep, no problem. Okay. All right, so we're going to change shifts a little bit, and I'd like to talk about your art a little bit. So you're also, beyond being streaming horror games, so that you do art. Now, is this something that kind of grew at the same time with your gaming, and you kind of did art with gaming, or I'll elaborate about that?
Oh, I've been doing art for a goodly amount of time. I finally was able to get into art classes in high school because I finally went to public school and they offered art classes, and I was like, sweet deal, I'm going to take all these art classes, and I did. And it kind of blossomed into a, wow, I can kind of do this, and things are kind of like doing things, and I took as many as I could before I graduated high school. Not as many as I had hoped, but it was enough to where I could kind of self-teach myself along the way, and I just kept it up throughout my lifespan of... That sounds weird. I've just kept it up. Lifespan. I'm just still spanning my life. And then once I got out of the military, I was like, well, what am I going to fucking do with myself? I could either go to college and die of anxiety, or I could do something with my life. And so I started my own business and started selling art. And here I am, still selling art. So that's actually my main business. Like, I have my business license and shit. But I started that long before I started streaming, and that was just kind of like, come as it goes. See how it do.
Yeah. And do you find that it's a great kind of medium to kind of pull from? Because I know you do a lot of different commissions and stuff. Do you find that having that streamer kind of part of your life and with games, stuff like that, kind of adds to the creativity that you have when you're doing your art?
I mean, I guess kind of. It definitely gives me something to do on days that I have already finished a game and I'm between games, like doing the whole art streams and chatting with viewers and stuff, because it's like, who wouldn't want to get, a dumb doodle of themselves and shit like that? So it's a nice way to enjoy time with people and just kind of get to know people who come into the stream and hang out.
Yeah, and that's the main thing of it, and it's a great way kind of a little bit to de-stress and kind of bring yourself down from, especially if you play like a high-end horror game and stuff like that, and then you're like kind of chilling out and doing art and stuff. Like, I freaking love like chilling out in art streams, especially if I've finished with playing a game like that, and then I raid one of my fellow artists. I have an artist who's I usually use for my emotes and stuff. I always visit his streams whenever I'm done streaming sometimes to kind of chill out, because he just plays music and does his art and stuff like that, and it's really nice because it's different. Like I don't want to have to watch games all the time. I like to chill out and watch the artist do something, because it's very relaxing to watch, in my sense,
Yeah, especially when they have chill music on, you can just,
Oh yeah, exactly.
not really do anything except vegetate.
Do you find that there needs to be a new type of horror game coming out? Like, because I find lately there's a lot of, the same kind of genre games where, run and hide. Do you think that we need something new for something to come out?
Until I see it, then I guess I won't really know, because everything has a different way of how they do it, I guess. So it's kind of like, there's one that I'm kind of looking forward to, is The Sinking City. I think it's already out on Epic, but I mean, I've heard good things about it. Narcosis looks really good. Dark looks good. There's things that have different elements. Most of them are basically kind of follow the same lines of, they ramp you up and then they get you. And you're always kind of looking around, but they all hold the whole, you have to walk around, you have to do the touchy-feelies, and you have to solve something in order to get out of somewhere. Which is fine with me, because, I mean, that's actually most games. In order to progress, you have to do something. So, It's
yeah.
not terribly surprising that stuff has to have that formula, but if it keeps going along the lines of, oh man, I'm just gonna try my hardest to throw everything into a box, shake it up, dump it out, and hope for the best, I'll probably steer clear of anyone who just does that constantly.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's try chiming back into that. Let's talk about the most frustrating moment in a game for you.
Oh man. It would probably be, amazingly enough, not Dark Souls 3, but I think it was Dead Space 2 on the final boss. I was getting ragged pretty hard by some people in my chat, and it just felt bad. Just felt really bad because I couldn't get the mechanics right. And I kept doing worse and worse and worse. And it just, I finally had to take a break because I thought I was going to cry. I was like, this is just so awful.
I know exactly the fight that you're talking about. That's the one where you're in the mine and you have to shoot the thing after disabling her. Yeah. I had that on hard. Like I had that on like hard mode. To even beat like on hard, it's even worse. So I downgraded it down to normal just so I could freaking beat it, so I could get the game done, because I got really frustrated with it. So I completely understand with it, because the different elements of that fight are just fucking bullshit. Because you have to mitigate around, you have to pick up the ammo, you have to keep yourself healed, take out all those little shitheads, and then shoot her, then go up there and try to unload on the fucking yellow thing in the sky. And fuck. Yes, that as soon as you started and you said Dead Space 2, and then at the final fight, I'm like, oh my fuck, I feel you right now.
Yeah, and there's those rocks that are in the way, and if you get caught on the rocks, then you're fucked, because all the shadow children come up and completely gangbang you in the corner. You just get scarred for life like 67 times. You're just like, I just want my suffering to end. Just take me now.
Yep. Take me now. Yeah, that's exactly what that was. It was very frustrating. So believe me, I understand.
And then spending 2 weeks on Daddy Gale in Dark Souls 3. That was pretty awful. There's that, and I think probably the second most frustrating was I was on the dragon in Dark Souls 3. I don't remember. I don't remember the name. I think it started with an M. But I had a random hacker come in and one-shot it down. And I never got to fight the dragon.
Jesus.
So that was upsetting. And people were like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, fine. It's not fine. It's fine.
Yeah. It's fine.
And I had people were like, oh, we can just go and do it on my account. I'm like, it's fine. I don't want to come back here right now.
It's fine, people. Jesus Christ.
Let's just move on. Please.
Okay. Okay, let's kind of tie into like that. So in your stream, like as I've been visiting your streams for a while now, you have the options to do like sound effects, yes? Now, do you find that people abuse that so much, especially when you're playing a really bad, like a really like badass horror game where you're trying to focus so hard and somebody just does a screamer right at you?
Oh, I mean, entirely, and it's absolutely hilarious. That's normally when the best come.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, who am I to object? Because, I mean, they're spending their money on me. But what used to happen is I used to have a couple of the clips, or not clips, well, sound bites, whatever. I used to have them free. And it got to the point where I'd have kids, and I do mean kids, come in, and they would spam the fuck out of them. And I'm like, y'all can't do that. Please don't do that. And I would have them put in timeout. And they'd come back and start doing it again. And I found out a really disturbing thing is when you have an extension like that, that is not entirely like it's on Twitch, but it's not associated with Twitch. Even if you ban a user, they can still play the sound bites.
Ooh.
So it's I had to actually put everything up to I think the lowest one is like either 10 or 20 bits. Because I knew that the person who was doing it couldn't afford it because he was a kid. And then I got a really, or one of my mods got a really mean message saying that I should probably like hang myself and die. I was like, that's nice. Thank you. Over this. Oh, kids are great nowadays.
Oh, I know. But yeah, no, but yeah, it's. Do you find that really enriches the experience, especially getting the audience to kind of interact with you on a good point, on a good standpoint, where they will give use the bits to kind of send it towards you? But do you find that really enriches the experience with the stream?
I do, because not only are they able to try to anticipate when the best jump scare is going to be, but since I don't use a cam, they have to anticipate when I am focused the most and then get me. So it's a cat and mouse game. And 9 times out of 10, they get me. And they can tell that they get me because my mouse just almost flies across the room and I backhand my coffee mug and the cat goes nuts and it's fantastic. So they know. They fucking know they got me.
I always love just being in chat. If I do it or someone else does it and you get you really bad and you're like, thanks.
I mean, I have the office stare going a lot at my screen. I'm just like, you guys. Yeah. Thank you. I got my gym faces down pat.
So let's talk about your community for a few minutes then. How do you feel your community is now compared to what it was maybe a year ago?
I didn't have a community a year ago. I wasn't streaming a year ago.
Oh, okay, well.
So, I mean, compared to a couple months ago, it's hopping. It's hopping and popping and bebopping and stuff. I mean, it's not as active as like a huge ass fucking streamer Discord, but we definitely have people who come in, join the regulars, and enjoy themselves quite a bit. I've been told that people feel comfortable in the Discord and hanging out and chat because, I mean, it's just so chill. And people enjoy that aspect of the chat and the Discord. Just, there's no pressure. There's no need to feel that they have to level up in order to use perks and stuff in the Discord and stuff. And that's basically what I feel a community should be like. We support people when we can. And if you get busy, shit happens. Life happens. You stop streaming, that's fine. You became a viewer, that's great. We're still here for you. So, vice versa. You stop being a viewer, you became a streamer, fuck yeah, let's see how you do. We can offer you support and advice. So, I mean, I would hope that I've had others do that for me. I've had people come in, when I first started streaming, I had people coming in and say, hey, your mic is absolute shit, let's figure out your stream. I have people from the very beginning of my streaming days say, well, Shy broke her mic again. And just like at the beginning, because I fucking fucked up my mic constantly. So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's like I was using a year as kind of a base to go with. I'm like, oh shit. But no, I have to agree. I have to say, like, it is very welcoming in your chat and stuff like that. So, like, it's really nice to kind of see the kind of things where you can easily go into stream, because there's some streams where you go in and there's like an ass ton of people, and in chat, like, you see like a person with like 300 viewers, something like that, and you go in the chat and you see about 4 or 5 talking, and
that makes me suspicious, honestly.
Yeah.
That just makes me wonder.
Well, that's the thing. It would make you wonder. And so the difference between that and your chat is like people are avidly, trying to speak with you, avidly, messing with you with the alerts. And it's really nice because there's a sort of teasing that's there, but it's not so that where it's going to make you upset. It's more so kind of a fun and engaging way. And that's why I like coming to your streams, is because I can easily go in there and then suddenly you're doing something stupid and people are calling you out on it. And then I'm like, yeah, Shy, yep, you're doing it.
It's the story of my life. What stupid shit is Shy gonna get up to today?
Yeah, exactly. And that's good. That's really a great sort of community that you want to have, is like, you want to have that interaction. You want to have that play and go. You want to have that loving kind of situation like that where, people come in and they can see what you're like and what your community is like. And they say, hey, yeah, I want to be part of that. And it's the number one thing I find with streams is you have to have fun. Number one, doesn't matter if you make a goddamn dime, but if you have fun with the people that are in your chat and they're having fun with you, that is the most important thing. And that's what I think I really get from your stream. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I find it's more like siblings. Really dumb siblings, and we knock on each other.
Yeah, I get that. just chats, just looks in there and you're something like, Shy, what are you doing? It's over there, Shy, get it! It's like, oh, flip that switch, do this! And you're like, what? What do you mean?
God, like today when I got completely annihilated by Bendy, it's like, I dodged him perfectly, and then he's gonna one-shot you and just gone.
Smack, gone.
Oh, man. Life is tough.
Yes. Now, kind of tying in for that, let's talk about community night. So you do I think it's one night. Isn't that one night a week that you have a community night?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah. So why don't you kind of explain what you do with that whole community night?
What I do or why I do?
Either, actually both would be great. Thanks for it.
I'm here for you.
Yep.
Well, it kind of started in a prior Discord, and it was kind of a way because people were like, we should do stuff together, and no one actually did anything together, or people would be like, oh man, let's play a whole bunch of all these different games, and then no one would actually play any of the games, or they would want to watch movies, and a few people would watch movies together, but nothing would ever really happen. And so people found out that me and a few of the other admins who, we were obviously friends before we even started the Discord, we were playing golf with friends and a couple of other games together. They're like, oh man, I would love to play, but I don't have that game. Could we watch? And I was like, well, I'll just stream it so you guys can watch. And then other people were like, well, I just bought the game. Can I play? And I'm like, let's just fucking have community night.
Yeah.
So once that happened, we started brainstorming on what all games we could start playing for community night. And so far, the ones that have actually stood out the best are Golf with Your Friends and Terraria, because there's like endless limit of people that you can apparently have in Terraria. So Golf with Your Friends, we just round robin people out, in and out, because people get busy and they play a couple of rounds. They're like, all right, I'm good. And they just head out and another person takes their spot. And sometimes we even make friends who are like, oh man, yeah, this is great. And we're like, hey, we're streaming right now. You want to just, hang out? And they come, and we've actually gotten a couple people into the Discord and into the chat that way. And it's great. We make more friends. Other times it kind of backfires and people are like, you guys are douchebags, because I do my best to hit people off the map, but that's besides the point. That's how community night came to be, basically. And we do it because, it gets more people into the community, and it allows us to have fun just without the horror games, without it's not focusing on me, it's focusing on everyone else, and I can shout people out better. people are like, oh, well, who's that in voice chat with you? People can actually come into voice chat, the people who are playing, and talk with me directly if they want to, and talk with other people and just get that open communication with other streamers and other viewers. So it's really nice being able to have that open communication, because I feel a lot of times people are just too shy to actually do it on their own, and they're like, I just don't really want to.
Oh yeah. No, and that's good. And so, kind of doing that, because that really gets the community involved, and you're able to, as you said, do proper shoutouts and stuff. And so it's really kind of a nice thing to do. And just it adds to the fun. Okay, so let's talk about streaming in general. What do you find is the most rewarding part of streaming, do you think?
Making friends. Also, the fact that I get to play games with friends, basically.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It's like hanging out with people all day long. It's so nice.
Oh yeah, because then because there's a lot of things that you could, take from it. And really, a lot of people, I find, especially the newer streamers that are coming in, that they see people like, I'm just trying to throw this out here, like I guess Wade, Markiplier, Bob, and all that fun stuff that kind of came over from YouTube over to Twitch. A lot of people were kind of getting to the point where they want to get big quick, and they don't really focus on the friends. Another aspect, they're kind of more on the money aspect. And I think it's a real shame to really see that, because the thing is, like, you could be lucky and you could, immediately people are attracted to you, and then, oh, boom, suddenly you have a huge wallet of money coming at you or something like that. But like, what happens when the money fades, when people are, unable to throw that money at you, and then you throw it back, you get all mad, stuff like that. It's like, hey, why aren't you guys subscribing like that? I would never want to be like that. And so I think it's bad, like, especially with your approach, what you're saying is making friends and spending time with them. Like, you can always make all kinds of money, but you cannot, making friends, I find, is more important, and spending time with people that you enjoy, right?
Oh yeah, I agree with that very much so. It's good to have a solid foundation when you start streaming, and I find that a lot of streamers that just start out, they're like, I don't understand why I have no one visiting my channel. It's like, you aren't using Twitter and you aren't talking to anyone. Like, how are people even going to know who you are? If you aren't talking to anyone, people aren't going to just search for your name. They're not going to search for your game. They're not going to look for you. You have to go out and make friends. It's first and second grade all over again. It's not high school. That comes later. It's first and second grade. You get to go and make friends with Billy. So once you get that, and you get people who are like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go check out that friend, you get kind of noted, and people are like, oh, well, once you've participated in thus and such Discord for a while, people are more willing to raid you because they've seen you around. Once you've participated in this chat for a while, people are more likely to raid you because, you've been a good person to them, you've been nice to them, you've been a supporter of them, so they're going to support you back. So I mean, basically, it comes down to don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. I agree on that. And it's a lot of people kind of think that there's a one-trick pony or one trick to get like that, where you do all this stuff like that. Like, how do you feel about lurking? By the way, like not lurking, just lurking. They can't really chat. I'm talking about like the whole lurk for lurk practice and stuff. What do you feel about that?
I think it's absolute garbage, because if you don't have an active chat, I mean, why the fuck are you streaming? Like, what's the point? You literally have dead bodies in your chat. Yay for you. Congrats, you have numbers, but you have nothing else. Like, why are you here? What's your point? There's nothing there. It's dead air. You're dead space. I think it's absolutely useless. There's lurking to support somebody. Like, I have to go make dinner. I'm going to lurk. Like, right now, I have 2 lurks up on the person I rated and on Pony Plays because he's adorable and I love him. And, I mean, obviously, I'm AFK, but I usually have a couple lurks up on friends because I occasionally check in, but sometimes most of the time, I settle in on a chat that I'm going to chat in for the rest of the day. And I make connections there, and I make friends. And that's how I get my name and establishment out. You can't do that with a fucking lurk for lurk. That's just how you get garbage for garbage. So I think it's trash. I think it's awful. And I think people should probably stop that. And not to name any names, but their initials are streamers. So.
Oh yeah. I hear that. Yeah, and I think it's to the point where, you know, there has to be like a zero tolerance kind of for it anymore, because I used to get a lot of people coming in and they go, lurk for lurk, view for view, and I'm like, no. And so basically,
No
I basically no for now. Yeah, I basically just say now is when somebody comes in and they say, hey, I'm here to lurk and support you, I'm like, oh, that's great. But I put in my chat rules, it's like no lurk for lurk, no view for view. It's just like, if I feel that if you're going to just come in here and ask me to lurk for you to lurk back, it's like, I don't like that. I'd rather get like you lurk, say, hey, I gotta go make supper, hey, I can lurk, I'll lurk here in 4 a.m. like, oh, that's great, and I know that you're still supporting me. But with lurk for lurk, it's like, yeah, if I lurk you, hey, I'll look inside your window if you look inside my window. Okay, I'm looking at that.
I was thinking that really, really weird gif of the guy looking through the plant with the look on his face, just
yeah, but no, it's just like, yeah, but it's like continuing. It's just like, he's not looking in my window. What the fuck, man? I looked in your window. What the fuck?
Now look in my window. It's just, I think it's terrible. It's a horrible practice. It's not a good habit to get into, and people should just stop it. Just stop it.
Just stop it.
Stop it, guys. Stop it.
Yeah, but no, and that's kind of why I like trying to go with like organic growth. I like organic growth better. Like working through it and meeting new people is the best way, and I agree with it. And so that's kind of why I'm kind of starting my own little thing on the stuff here. Sorry, pro promotion here for a second. But I've started my own little community. It's in beta right now, where I'm bringing together streamers where basically the basic rule of it is you can support if you want. Like if you want to check someone out, sure, but we're not forcing you to check someone out. You see someone's playing a game you like, check them out. If you like them, I don't know, share their channel around or something like that. Do something nice. Like I kind of want to do this kind of thing where I want people to not be a dick, essentially. And so that's what I'm kind of working on. And so like this, you know, not lurk for lurk, because it's nasty. It's like being the weird clown at a child's birthday party and you're like, hey kid, lurk for lurk. Oh.
Like, I'll give you $1 to never do that again in my presence. Like ever again in my presence, because I feel like I need to go take a shower now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I creep you out?
No, but it sounded funny. Hey kid.
Oh god.
You want to buy buy some fun?
You want to buy some fun? No, not that. Not exactly at all. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm not going to take too much more of your time, but I think we're going to do one final question, if you don't mind.
Kind of surprised you haven't asked me about the camera.
Well, cat cam or cam for yourself? Sorry, my brain's going crazy.
Both.
Oh, both. Okay. All right. So, what about the cat cam?
Well, I kept getting asked why I don't have a cam, and I was like, well, I kept telling people I was actually a cat, and so I made their dreams come true. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I was actually a pussy streamer? And so I made the Catzers logo. And so now I'm a real pussy streamer. I'm a real girl. I'm a real cat.
Cat is AFK. Okay, so anyway, going back to the question I was going to ask before, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have asked about that. Is there anything that you are particularly proud of coming up that you would like to kind of do some self-promotion about right now?
I made these really cool paintings, and I'm really happy with them, and they're pretty. Yeah. Yay. They're really cool. I really like them. They took forever, and I made a mess, and I yelled at them a lot. But they're cool and pretty, and the person who ordered them is really happy, and that makes me happy, so everybody's happy, and I'm happy, so I'm happy. So I'm proud of them.
All right, then. Well, that's always good. See, I won't kind of ask exactly about them because they're kind of towards another person there. But all right, I think we'll call it there because I think. Have you eaten, by the way?
Have I eaten?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a yogurt. It's fine.
Okay. I was like, I'm hoping I'm not keeping you from eating.
Oh, no. After this, I'll probably be watching a movie with Goblin if she hasn't eaten.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But you'll probably see the paintings on Twitter. So, there's that.
All right. Oh, awesome. All right, folks. Well, I like to thank shylostconfused for definitely sitting down with this really irregular interview. I know it's not a normal interview, but it's more of a conversation between two people, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed it too.
I did. Thank you so much for having me on here, and I hope you have a great night. And I don't even know if you're going to get any sleep, but I hope you get some rest before work.
Yeah, I'm gonna go have a quick shower and then totally, sleep for an hour, about 2 hours or something like that, and then get up and go to work. Yay! Fun times. But anyway, folks, thank you again for listening to this lovely little interview. I will have it up on YouTube with glowers. Shy is going to get her magenta glower.
Yes.
Yes. But yes, please check out shylostconfused on Twitter and Twitch. Believe me, if you don't like the streaming, you'll love the shitposts. See her on Twitter.
You're not wrong.
Well, you have a great day, folks. You have a great day.